Okay, testing, testing. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Virginia City Council meeting. This is a regularly scheduled council meeting. I'll call this meeting to order. Today's date is Tuesday, January 12th, 2021, and I'll call this meeting to order at 5:35 p.m. In the room today, we have our city attorney, Brian Lindsay, our Park and Rec Director, Brian Silber, our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis, our finance HR director, Sherry Erickson, and on the line we have on Zoom, Councilor Beyondich. Is that correct? Pam, would you please take the roll call?
Caribou,
Present.
Neely,
Here.
Paulson is absent. Beyondich,
Present.
Johnson,
Here.
Baranzelli,
Here.
Coffey.
Present. Would everyone please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Before we go to item 4 on the agenda, was a public forum, I'd like to read this notice. So we've been under an emergency order by the governor's office and by city resolution as well. And we continue to honor the governor's resolution, obviously, in our own emergency order in order for us to practice social distancing and stay as safe as we can, not only for the public, but for our employees and for the staff and for the elected officials in the city of Virginia. So just as a reminder, I'd like to read this notice for the general public certification at the request of City Council. A notice for the meeting is pursuant to Minnesota Statute 13D.021, notice of meeting by telephone or other electronic means. Notice is hereby given that the City Council of the City of Virginia will hold council meetings on Tuesday, January 12, 2021 at 5:30 p.m. in the council chambers. In accordance with the requirements of Minnesota Statute Section 13D.021, Larry Cuffey Jr., the mayor, has determined that an in-person meeting is not practical or prudent because of a health pandemic or an emergency declared under Chapter 12 of the Minnesota statutes. Because of the health pandemic and emergency declaration, it has been determined that attendance at the regular meeting locations by members of the public is not feasible. Because of the health pandemic and emergency declaration, it has been determined that the physical presence at the regular meeting location by at least one member of the body, chief legal counsel or chief administrative officer, is not feasible. Therefore, some or all of the committee or council members may be participating by telephone or other electronic means. We are asking the community members who are interested in the meeting to continue to watch the live stream on the City of Virginia YouTube channel or MediaCom Channel 5 so that we may keep City Hall attendance to essential individuals only. To attend the City Council meeting to be held on January 12th, which is tonight at 5:30 p.m., you can join on Zoom. And the meeting ID number is 820-1612-1802, passcode 839939. That's the meeting ID number, once again, is 820-1612-1802, passcode 839939. Or you can call toll-free 888-475-4499. That's 888-475-4499, or 877-853-5257, or 877-853-5257. And we'll continue to practice this method of having our meetings as long as we have an emergency order in place, both locally and by the state of Minnesota. And so some of our council members have been and will continue to meet and participate in these council meetings by Zoom. Thank you. And we'll move to item 4, which is a public forum. We have no one in the audience to speak today. Pam or Britt, do we have anybody on the line that likes to address the council this evening? We do not, so we'll move to item 5, which is the consent agenda. The following items will be enacted by one motion unless a councilor or citizen of the city of Virginia requests that the item be considered separately. Item 5.1 is the approval and correction of the minutes of 5.1A, the regular meeting that was held on December 22nd, 2020. 5.1B, the special meeting that was held December 29th, 2020. And 5.1C, the reorganizational meeting that was held on January 4th, 2021. Item 5.2 is the adoption of Finance Resolution Number 21-001, the schedule of bills. Item 5.3, approve the exempt permit application for Whitetails Unlimited Northeast Minnesota Deer Camp to conduct a raffle at the Elks Lodge in Virginia, Minnesota on March 6th, 2021. Item 5.4 is approve the massage license for 2021 for Steve Lepatka doing business as Masabi Therapeutic Massage. Item 5.5, approve the secondhand good license for 2021 for William Spells doing business as Twice as Nice. Item 5.6, approve the travel request for the Virginia Police Department. 5.6A, Chris Simons to attend the Emergency Vehicle Operations February 2nd, 2021 in St. Cloud, Minnesota as a cost of $125 plus overtime. This is a budgeted item and a required training under the Minnesota Post Rules and Standards. Item 5.6B, Nick Grivda to attend the Canine Narcotics Certification on January 16th through 17th, 2021 in New Hope, Minnesota at a cost of $50. These are the consent agenda items offered today at the council meeting. I'm looking for some council action. Council Bearable.
Mayor, I will move the consent agenda.
Council Bearable moves to approve the consent agenda. Is there support?
I'll support.
Support by Councilor Freelieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, appearances. We have no one scheduled to appear before the council meeting today, so we'll move to item 7, unfinished business. We do not have any unfinished business to attend. Item 8 is discussion items. Item 8.1 is adopt the resolution approving the official newspaper for 2021. And in your packet, you have a resolution. If I can find it here. Apologize. Okay, thank you. In your packet, you have a resolution in your packet under 8.1, which is adopt the resolution to designate the Mesaba Daily News as the official newspaper for 2021. Looking for a motion. Council action.
Mayor, I also move that the Mesaba Daily News be our official newspaper for the city of Virginia for 2021.
Moved by Councilor Baraboo to approve the resolution
Support.
designating Mesaba Daily News as the official newspaper for 2021, supported by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. And the reason we go with Mesaba Daily News is because it's a daily, well, as daily of a newspaper as we can get, and it allows for us to meet the print requirements for notification should there be something that comes up. we do use both Hometown Focus and Mesaba Daily News for our advertisement. And Britt, the question I do have is that the rates we're seeing here, it's for all city departments, correct? That they all fall under, okay. All right, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that point and make sure folks knew that we were utilizing both papers. Thank you.
Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.2 is adopt a resolution approving the depositories for 2021. This is something we do on an annual basis. Is the City Council is required under State Statute number 118A.02 and 427.01 to name depositories for the City of Virginia for the ensuing term commencing February 1, 2021, ending January 31st, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that the City of Virginia City Council, that U.S. Bank, Northern State Bank of Virginia, and Franson Bank and Trust, County of St. Louis, State of Minnesota, are hereby designated as depositories of city funds for the ensuing term commencing February 1, 2021, and ending January 31st, 2022. The said depositories heretofore named shall be entered into a depository agreement whereby said depository shall furnish collateral as required by law to be deposited with the finance director of the City of Virginia. And it goes on to name these various locations for collateral. And it's with the mayor, the city administrator, or the finance director that the collateral of the U.S. Bank may be deposited for safekeeping in the U.S. Bank of Minneapolis, collateral of Northern State Bank. Virginia may be deposited for safekeeping in the National City Bank of Minneapolis. The collateral for Franson Bank and Trust may be deposited with the Federal Home Loan Bank of Des Moines, and the collateral with American Bank may be deposited through CDARS, which is a Certificate of Deposit Account Registry Service, as security for such funds, or may, in its discretion, furnish a surety bond as part or in lieu thereof. So be it further resolved that the state banks, national banks, and thrift institutions located either within or without the state of Minnesota, which qualifies as depositories under this Minnesota law and are included on the list approved and maintained for such purposes by the investment advisor of the Citigroup Global Markets Incorporated, Smith Barney, Institutional CDs Incorporated, MBIA, State Street Bank and Trust Companies, Boston, Massachusetts, 4M Funds, PMA Financial, Naperville, Illinois, and Northern Securities and Baker Tilly Municipal Advisories are hereby designated as depositories for city funds for ensuing term commencing February 1, 2021, and ending January 31st, 2022. And Sherry, would you please, for the public's information, just give us a quick update? This is something we do on an annual basis, and have we changed our depositories from the previous year?
Your Honor, Counsel, this is something we do every year. And no, the only one that I would say probably, but I think you had to approve this last year, is the 4M fund that's on there. And that is where the 2020A bond, the majority of it is sitting.
And the 2028 bond is for?
The MAC reconstruction.
Thank you very much for that information for the public's edification. So I'm looking for a motion regarding the resolution of approving these depositories for 2021.
I would make the motion to approve the designated depositories as listed.
Motion by Councilor Freely to approve adopt the resolution, supported by Councilor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to item 8.3, is appoint Police Chief Nicole Mattson to the Northeast Minnesota Emergency Communications Board, or it's called the RAC Board, for 2021. and Deputy Chief Chad Nicola as the alternate. They currently serve as both the board member and alternate from the previous year.
Mayor, also make that motion to appoint Chief Mattson and Deputy Chief Nicola to that board.
Thank you. Moved by Counselor Bearable. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Further discussion? Just to let you know, this board consists of police administrators from all over Northeast Minnesota. They sit and discuss the communications and how that works and the cooperation with 800 megahertz. And we're just one department of many that participate in this board. And we're fortunate to have our chief and assistant chief serving. So it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm confused because it says emergency communication boards are AC, and then 8.4 also says emergency communication boards ECB. So are we clear on what the 8.3 should be?
Well, one is fire and one is police. So the ECB board, I think it's the emergency communications board. The other is the I can't remember the regional. I can't remember what it's called. So, do you have any clarification for that, Pam? We could find that out from the chief if we have to make an adjustment or a change in it, but I believe it is the ECB board.
Yes, Mayor, one is also the RAC and the other is it is ECB board for both and then RAC for police and the other is just as it is for fire.
Okay, well, we're acting on 8.3 right now, so it's been moved and supported on 8.3. Is there any further discussion on 8.3? Hearing, seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8.4 is appoint Fire Chief Alan Lewis to the Northeast Minnesota Emergency Communications Board, the ECB, for 2021, and Deputy Fire Chief Scott Frederickson as the alternate.
I will move 8.4.
Counselor Johnson moves to approve 8.4, supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.5 is approved. Pay estimate number 7 for the Ewens Field redevelopment to Kraus Anderson in the amount of $38,395.97. Is that accurate? Very good. Thank you.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Freelieb. Is there support?
All support, Mayor.
Support.
Support by Counselor Bearable. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries, and that was for the Ewens Field redevelopment. Now we move to item 8.6, is to approve the pay estimate number 7 for the MEC to Kraus Anderson in the amount of $2,264,874.31.
I will move pay estimate 7.
Counselor Johnson moves to approve pay estimate number 7 under item 8.6 for the MEC to Kraus Anderson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank
Mayor,
you.
did we ever do 8.4? Wasn't that separate?
We did 8.4.
No, we did 3, but we didn't do 4.
We did 4, yes. We did 8.3 and 8.4, yes.
I wasn't, the motion originally was just 8.3.
Pam, would you read back the motion on 8.4?
On 8.4,
Yes.
moved by Counselor Johnson, supported by Counselor Beyondich to appoint Fire Chief Alan Lewis to the Northeast Minnesota Emergency
Okay.
Communications Board. ECB for 2021, and Deputy Fire Scott Frederickson as the alternate.
Okay, thank you. Are you an aye on that, Counselor?
Well, yeah, I just must have missed that we did a separate one, because we were talking about them together, and we switched them out to singly.
They are listed as single. I think there was a
Okay.
question
All right,
about it,
that's
about
fine. That's fine.
8.4, when we were discussing 8.3, but,
Because of the ECB and the rack. Okay, I'm fine with it.
okay, thank you very much. Okay, I'll move to item 8.7 is adopt a resolution for hire single role EMT paramedics. And there is a resolution in your packet, whereas the City of Virginia and the International Association of Firefighters have agreed that there are 6 single role EMT paramedics positions available in the ambulance department. And whereas this position, or these positions, are covered under the memorandum of understanding between the City of Virginia and the International Firefighters Local 390, and whereas a review committee has reviewed the potential applicants, and whereas the review committee hereby approves offering the single role EMT position, one position, to Ms. Dana Blazer. So now therefore it be it resolved that we hire her based on this resolution, and is to hire again Ms. Dana Blazer as a single role EMT position for the fire department. Looking for a motion.
I'll move the hiring of the candidate.
Moved by Counselor Johnson to approve. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 8.7B, there is a resolution in your packet to approve the hiring of a recreational assistant position for the City of Virginia, whereas the Park and Recs Department has expressed the need to hire personnel for the Park and Rec figure skating program. Is this for the figure skating program? This is a recreational assistant, right? So this is a recreational assistant.
This is for the skating shacks. This is our last skating shack attendant position.
So we'll make that change to the resolution to reflect Park and Recreation skating shack attendant. Or, I'm sorry, recreation assistant for that, recreation assistant. And we'll strike the figure skating program from that, okay. And the position are seasonal in nature, and the application has been received by Human Resources, and whereas it is the recommendation to hire the following for the 2020-2021 season, Gracelyn Mogensen. And I'm looking for a motion to act on 8.7B to hire Gracelyn Mogensen as a recreation assistant.
So moved.
Moved by Counselor Johnson. Is there support? Support by Counselor Friedlieb. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8.8, abolish the Hospital Advisory Commission as of 1/12/2021. We discussed this at a committee meeting, committee of the whole.
Do we need a resolution to abolish that position?
I don't think there is a resolution in here.
No, but do we need one? 'Cause I'll waive the written resolution if we need one.
Well, let me refer to our city attorney, Brian Lindsay, to answer that question for you, Councilor Bear. Brian?
Thank you, Mayor. Counselor, I think the best practice would be to have this reduced to a resolution as it's a more formal, and if we ever need to look back to find it, it's good to have that piece of paper available.
And so we can take care of that. I'll move that we waive the written resolution for that abolishment of the Hospital Advisory Commission.
Okay, Councilor Baraboo moves to waive the written resolution under item 8.8 to abolish the Hospital Advisory Commission as of 1/12/2021. Is there support?
I'll support for discussion.
Support.
Support by Counselor Freely for further discussion. Further discussion, Counselor Freely.
Just, I guess, so this is just a non, I mean, this committee no longer meets, there's no need for, I mean, is it something that the city formulated, or is it something Essentia formulated, or was it a joint formulation?
It was a joint formulation of some citizens groups as the lease agreement was being developed, and once the lease agreement was approved and essentially was operating under the lease agreement, from time to time, the citizens group would meet and discuss the lease, and if they're moving forward with the lease, and if they're abiding by the lease agreement. And it was a request by the old hospital commission to have this because the hospital commission was going to be abolished. And so there were some people that actually served on the hospital commission that served on this hospital advisory board. And so that was formulated, and it would be called from time to time as needed by at that time, our city attorney, Mark Budarak, I think myself, and Rocky Lucarelli, and I forget the other woman that was on, what was her name? No.
Part of the reason I
Yeah,
brought
go
it
ahead.
up is because when I came on to the counselor, I was appointed as the liaison, and since then I've never been to or had a meeting held. So I guess it's because the lease expired, and so there's no further need for this commission to be.
Right, it actually has been inactive and hasn't met in the terms, and the purpose of that has expired now. There's no need to have it anymore. We haven't met in almost 2 years.
Right. And so we have completed the sale of the hospital. I mean, does it matter that that hasn't concluded yet, and we would be pulling the plug on our continued communications with them, or is that something outside of the realm of the council now?
Well, it's actually, we can discontinue the communication with them because this has actually been replaced by a meeting on a monthly basis, or was a meeting on a monthly basis with our city administrator and Sam Stone, the CEO of Essentia, to give updates on what's transpiring and keep our thumb on the pulse of that. And so that kind of replaced that moving forward, but with anticipation of the sale of the hospital by the end of the month, this hospital advisory commission is no longer needed.
Right. I support that.
Thank you. Moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye, opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move to item 8.9, which is adopt the resolution to hire figure skating positions. And there is a resolution in your packet. Whereas the Park and Recreation Department has expressed the need to hire personnel for Park and Recreation figure skating program, whereas these positions are seasonal in nature, and any person hired under this program shall work until March 2021. And whereas the applications have been received by Human Resources staff for these positions, and whereas it has been recommended to hire the following individuals for the 2021 winter ice season: Emma Ivakainen, Kristen Williams, Cassie Williams, Jada Westerber, Haley Shaver, and Lauren Arvila. And we offer this as the resolution by recommendation of Park and Rec and the hiring committee to hire these 6 individuals for the figure skating program. Looking for council action.
I'll move the resolution to hire listed folks.
Okay, a move by Councilor Johnson and supported by Councilor Friedlieb to hire the 6 assistants for the figure skating program. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we'll move to item 9 on the agenda, which are committee reports. Item 9.1, the committee of the whole meeting that was held on January 5th, 2021. I'll turn this portion of the meeting over to our city administrator, Britt C. Bennis. Britt?
Thank you. On January 5th at the Committee of the Whole meeting, we had an appearance by Tanya and Steve Carlson, who were present to discuss the request to build a miniature golf course on 14th Avenue West. Mr. Carlson informed the council on how the golf course came to fruition. It's approximately a 20,000 square foot parcel with surrounding land, would have a driveway, parking, clubhouse, and an outdoor patio seating area. The facility would be operable from May through October. Lighting will be installed for nighttime golfing. Revenue that would come from season passes, parties, school functions, and fundraising, and their goal is to create just a unique, fun, family-oriented business in Virginia. The request to the city council was approval for the resolution allowing the city to act as a fiscal agent and to apply for a Department of Iron Range Resources grant for the infrastructure to the site for the Greens on 14th project.
Thank you.
I will move that the city of Virginia be the fiscal agent to help this infrastructure development.
Counselor Johnson moves to approve the resolution,
Support.
supported by Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Counselor Freely?
Just out of curiosity, like, has this parcel of land been, like, is there a need for any, like, drilling and core sampling and, because we've run into problems in the past with land in the city that turned out to be not usable and potentially a significant expense to the city to rectify or mitigate those problems. So is that a potential here, or is that not necessarily so?
The advantage to this one is it's not city-owned property, it's privately owned property, so I really don't know a lot about this property.
Okay,
So it would be up to the Carlsons or the private owner to remediate.
so it's
anything that's
between
there.
them, they just need us as a fiscal agent for any monies they'll be afforded to be able to get this accomplished. All
Yes,
right,
and I know
thank
they
you.
have done some preliminary digs to see what's in there.
Good.
The architect that does the design of the mini golf course was not concerned whatsoever with what they dug.
Good, thank you,
Test samples.
thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Counselor Freely. Okay, it's been moved and supported. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We had a discussion with Mr. Brian Percott, who lives on 10th Street South. It was a very lengthy discussion, and we continue to monitor the situation of the parking in that area. We discussed the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, or the FFCRA, which expired on December 31st. The council had extended it to January 9th. After discussion, it was moved and supported to extend the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, or the FFRCA, leave benefits to February 2nd, 2021, and to review the extension at the Committee of the Whole meeting on February 2nd, 2021.
Counselor Johnson moves to approve.
Yes, please.
Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed?
No.
Pam, roll call, please.
Baraboo,
No.
Friedlieb,
Yes.
Beyondich,
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Kernzelli, Cuffey.
Yes, motion passes 5-1. Thank you.
It was moved and supported to approve the payment of the 2021 RAMS membership dues. RAMS is the Range Association Municipalities and Schools in the amount of $950.
I'll make that motion to approve the Rams membership dues.
Counselor Freely moves to approve the 2021 Rams membership dues annually in the amount of $950. Is there support?
I'll support, Mayor.
Support by Counselor Baraboo. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
It was moved and supported to adopt the resolution authorizing the city to apply for a Department of Iron Range Resources grant for the demolition of the Miners Memorial Building.
Thank you. Looking for council action?
I will move that we authorize applying for and accepting, and I would make sure that the motion says and accepting the grant for the demolition.
Okay, Counselor Johnson moves to approve the adopted resolution authorizing, applying for, and accepting funds from the Department of Iron Range Resources for a grant for the demolition of the Miners Memorial Building. Is there support? Support by Counselor Barnzelli and Counselor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
We had closed the meeting for discussion on real estate negotiations regarding a proposed lodging facility. And then when we reopened the meeting, Brian Silber, Parks and Recreation Director, informed the council that he has had discussion with the Department of Health from St. Louis County regarding the use of the Miners Memorial Building as a vaccination site for the general public for COVID vaccinations. Brian does have information to share.
Thank you, Brian. And we do not read a resolution. This is to do this, so this is a staff decision, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. Brian, would you please, for public certification, how this is going to work?
Well, St. Louis County has selected the miners as one of their distribution sites for the COVID-19 vaccination. So they hope to be ramping that up here on site within the next several weeks. Again, it will be following the tiered system, so they will be notifying those different individuals and age groups when they are able to come to the miners to receive their vaccinations. One of the things that I would recommend is that, and the Parks and Rec Commission is in favor of this, is that we waive all fees for them to do this at the miners.
Okay, thank you. So a couple of things, if I may. When people come to the miners or they have a question about whether they can come to get a vaccination, is there a number or they could call? Would we refer them to St. Louis County for additional information about the tiered system?
Yes, it would be, we'd refer them to St. Louis County Health Department.
Thank you very much. And do we need a motion to waive the fees for this vaccine distribution?
Yes.
Thank you. I'm looking for a council action and a motion to do so.
I'll make that motion.
Councilor Freely moves to waive the fees for the miners' rental space in order for St. Louis County to accommodate the distribution of the coronavirus vaccine. Is there support? Support by Councilor Beyondich. Is there any further discussion? Councilor Johnson.
Well, I'm just,
Councilor Freely.
thank you, Mayor. I was making sure that so we're talking north room, south room, or both, or?
We're going to be evaluating with them which would be the best room to do it in. My recommendation to them has been to utilize the south room. That way individuals could enter in the front doors, go into the south room, receive their shots, and then exit through that side door in the building, so we would not have cross traffic going on throughout the building. They are going to be coming and doing a site evaluation to determine which room would be best, because one of the things that they are wanting to do is after you receive your shot, you stay in the room for about 15 minutes just so that they can watch to see if you have an allergic reaction to the shot. If you do, then they are able to take care of that right then and there. So they do need to have enough room to providing social distance in the room. So we're going to measure to make sure that the south room does meet their needs. If not, then we would be utilizing the north room.
And scheduled accordingly, but that'll be up to their personnel. It will not involve city personnel, it'll just city property and.
City property, correct. They will be utilizing the facility during our normal operating hours, Monday through Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Freely. Councilor Johnson.
And that's my question is, does that mean nothing can be used in the south room Monday through Friday, 8 to 4 for the rest of the year?
Not for the rest of the year, but when they are utilizing this, yes. But we do have the other rooms that we are able to accommodate.
I guess I'm just a little concerned that it's wide open you know,
They still have to schedule with Brian, so if we have something already booked for that day, then they can't use that room.
okay, so
obviously,
we still have some.
We still have
Local control,
leeway
as it were.
for other events and things like that, and they realize that they're not asking for an unlimited, open-ended agreement for this. They're willing to work with us in our building schedule.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify, because yeah, it just sounds like we're wide open, and I don't want to miss the opportunity to generate revenue, although I understand the importance of pandemic and want to make sure there's balance there, because I do know that that room is rented out on Sundays.
Yes,
For the
and
year.
it still would be able to be.
Okay, thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Counselor Johnson. Counselor Barnzelli.
Brian, do they have a schedule from like 8 to 4, or have they come up with that time?
Not yet. It's going to depend on the vaccine, how many vaccines they have to distribute that week, and the schedule that they have. So it will be in flux a little while.
That's the reason I asked that, is because the people at home watching this, they're probably excited, but they don't know yet what the schedule. It'll be in the
Exactly.
paper.
I'm not sure how they will be communicating it.
County's in charge of that.
Yes, that is the county that's
Thank
in
you.
charge of it.
Thank you, Counselor Barnzelli. Okay, is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, Mayor. That's all I have from that meeting. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll move to item 10, which is commission liaison reports. Does any city councilor have a commission liaison report that they would like to give? Seeing none, we'll move to item 11, department head reports. Are there any department head reports for this evening? We have Brian Silber, our Park and Rec Director. Again, Brian, thank you.
Thank you. I wanted to let everybody know that our skating shacks are now open. We are following the COVID guidelines that you guys had been presented and approved. Each skating shack does have a limit as to how many individuals can be in it. That would be 5 individuals in the Midway skating shack, 7 individuals at the Jefferson Northside skating shack, and 10 individuals in the Ridgewood Skating Shack. Skating Shack hours are posted on our website, and they opened yesterday afternoon. Our skating shack, or our skating rinks, are being highly utilized this year. Staff has been amazed at how much they have been chewed up each and every day. Although I must say our weather has been fantastic to do some outdoor skating, and I'm glad to see that the public has taken advantage of that. In addition, wanted to let you know that in the minors, our youth hockey and high school hockey practices resumed last week. Everything has been going good. All of our teams, from the youth all the way through high school, have been following all of the safety protocols that are in place. Did find out today that we are able to open locker rooms for games only. So we're modifying some of those protocols that we have in place. We already had protocols in place for the cleaning and maintenance of those locker rooms after they've been utilized. So we'll go back into that phase that we were in before our last shutdown. Working with youth hockey, we are not going to have a free-for-all that you pick your locker room. They are going to be scheduled which locker room that they can use. That way we are able to spread out use of our locker rooms, allowing time for disinfecting of the locker rooms and everything. So everything has been moving smoothly there. Also wanted to update you that the Land of the Loon Committee will have their first meeting next week for planning for the 2021 Land of the Loon Festival. And also next week, Brewfest will be having a meeting planning for Brewfest in August of this year. So we are getting back to having some of our festivals in the park and looking forward to an action-packed, fun-filled summer. We also yesterday started on our social media page to request bands to submit interest for our summer concert series in the park. If you remember, the summer concerts this past summer were a huge success. So we are going to be looking at doing concerts every Tuesday in Alcott Park by the fountain from June through the end of August. This means that we won't do movies on Tuesdays any longer. We're going to do our movies the first Saturday of the month. So we'll do Saturday evening movies in the park. And tomorrow I'm going to put a poll out on our Facebook page with several movies, asking people to like the picture of the movie poster to help us determine which movies we will show in our 4 showings this coming summer. So we've got lots planned and are looking forward to a great summer this year.
Thank you, Brian, very much. Real quickly, I'm just disappointed. I mean, I'm excited about what we have moving forward, the new governor's order, relaxing some of the restrictions, but it's unfortunate that we're not going to be able to have the Homeboat and Travel Show again this year. I know that the organizers are very disappointed, but they're really looking forward to presenting it later on when the new MEC is in place. So thank you very much for the update, Brian. Did you have something you'd like to offer, Councilor Johnson?
Thank you, Mayor. Brian, are you looking for sponsors for Tuesday nights or Saturday movies at all?
Yes, we will be looking for sponsors again this year.
And they can contact you directly?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Johnson. Brian? Thanks. Just a plethora of information as always. Councilor Bearable.
Brian, I just have one question. What time are those concerts going to start? Because, I've enjoyed a couple of them in the past, and we got city council meetings on Tuesday.
Yes, concert starts at 6 p.m. and go until 8 a.m. or 8 p.m.
Okay, so we
So they'll
should
be
be-
2 hours long. Thankfully, they will be every Tuesday this year, so you'll only have to miss every other one.
Okay.
Or you could move the council meetings to earlier during the day.
No, we can't do that, but, no, that'll still give us an opportunity to catch part of the concerts. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Brian. Anybody else? Okay, thank you. We'll move to item 12, council reports. Does any city councilor have a report they'd like to give this evening? Councilor Johnson?
I don't have a report, Mayor, but I do appreciate the opportunity to separate these out. I think it gives us all an opportunity to know when to speak, and then having Brian come and visit is always nice when he give us an update. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, just have one quick update. Britt, for information that people have about the relaxing of the adjustment by Governor Walz on the emergency order. If they have any questions or comments, they can go on our website and take a look at the newly updated thing. If you have any other questions, please do not hesitate to visit that website or give us a call, and we'll try to direct you to the proper, and give you the information that you're going to need to help, understand the new changes and the modifications to the emergency order. We do have a commission interviews on January the 19th coming up for so many of the commissions commission appointments and the open commission seats. I won't be able to be there. I think it's scheduled for 3:30 in the afternoon on Tuesday the 19th. I have a prior standing committee meeting on that day at 4 o'clock every other Tuesday, so I won't be there, but I'm sure everybody will make their good decisions on, we have some really good applicants for that position. So that being said, I have nothing else to bring forth for the city council. I would ask our city attorney, Brian Lindsay. Brian, anything to address the council this evening? Thank you, Brian. Any councilor have any questions right now before we adjourn for our city attorney, Brian Lindsay?
I've got a question here. I see, Britt, that there's a Building and Grounds Committee meeting coming. It's the same date at same time as our Street and Alley, and Carl's on both committees, so how can we have them at the same
Alley's
time?
at 9 and Buildings and Grounds is set for 10:30.
Are we gonna get ours done in time
I
before
believe we
10?
should, yeah.
Should, okay, and I'm
And
fine.
if we don't, then Buildings and Grounds will have to wait.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anything else? Okay, thank you, Brian. Counselor Beyondich, anything to proffer before we adjourn?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. No other business to come before the city council this evening. We'll stand adjourned to our next city council meeting, which will be on Tuesday, January 26th, 2021, here in the council chambers at 5:30 PM. Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening and be safe. We stand adjourned.